Good morning and thanks for joining me. We're going to be working in some poses today to help you get into your Lotus Pose, which is a great meditative posture. So take this time just to drop in. First thing that we need to do to work up to Lotus is to be comfortable, just still in a seated meditative posture. So whatever that looks like for you, bring it to the mat and start to drop in when you're ready. Spinal alignment is going to be really important in your meditative posture, including in Lotus. So just take the time to make sure that you're honoring the natural curvature of the spine, maybe pulling the shoulders back to stay open through the chest, tucking the chin a little bit to protect the cervical spine. Take a second to shake the bug off your hand, take a deep breath, maybe bat the eyes open, and on your next inhale, send the hands up all the way up toward the sky. We're going to melt it forward for a seated forward fold. Shake out the hair and just relax the head and neck. Continue breathing deep here. And working up to Lotus, we're working both on focus, turning inward, and staying in a meditative mental state by calming the mind, as well as being able to sit still in your meditative postures for extended periods without getting distracted. Okay, I got distracted, but when you're ready, walk your hands off to the right, maybe relax the head and neck over the right knee, and continue deepening the breath here. If you're a little more advanced in your practice or a little more flexible through the hips, you can also do these seated forward folds with one shin stacked on top of the other. If you choose to take this pose as your initial seated posture, just walk the hands in the direction of whichever leg is underneath first. Either way, wherever you are, walk your hands to the other side of your seat. Melt the head and heart down there. Deepen the breath. And when you're ready, we'll walk the hands back through center, slowly, mindfully, with control. Plant the sits bones, plant the tailbone, and curl up to sitting. Go ahead and switch legs. If you had a cross-legged seat, or if you had shins stacked, stack the opposite shin on top here. We're going to do the same thing. So sending the arms up and overhead on your next inhale, paint them downward for that forward fold. On your exhale, relax the head and neck, and walk the hands off to the opposite side this time. Melting down the head and heart, noticing what you feel, noticing if anything's different, and just focusing on the breath. Walk the hands back through center. We'll do the same thing briefly on the other side. Find what feels good. Breathe deep into that. And when you're ready, you can walk it back through center, plant the sits bones, slowly curl up, come back up to sitting, and we will meet in tabletop on all fours. Get centered on your mat, take your time getting there. And once in tabletop, we'll start just by bumping the hips to one side, looking over the opposite shoulder, and repeating on the other side. Just move through that a couple of times, find your breath. When you're ready, bring it back through center, and right away we're going to send it back for an extended child's pose. So send the knees wide, send the hips back toward the heels. Arms extended toward the top edge of your mat, feeling that elongation through the spine and opening up through the hips. Take another cycle of breath and then bring your awareness to your fingertips. We're going to walk them off to the left side, melt the head and heart down there. Continue breathing deep. Take one more deep cycle of breath into that outer hip, and then we're going to walk the fingertips back through center and over to the right. Take your time getting there. Melt the head and heart down. Same thing here. Breathe deep. Slowly bring your awareness back to the fingertips. Maybe open up the eyes. When you're ready, and only when you're ready, walk it back through center. We'll meet back in tabletop. From here, we're going to go through a little cat-cow. So inhale, drop the belly, opening up through the midline. Exhale, pressing away from the yoga mat, arching through the upper back. Sync up with your breath, incorporate the pranayama. Move through this a few times. When you feel good about that, bring it back to tabletop. From there, we're going to press into that left shin, kick the right heel toward the sky. Exhale, draw that knee up and in toward the chest. Kick that heel up on your inhale. Draw the knee up and in on your exhale. Sync up with the breath. Kick that heel up high one more time. One more exhale. Bring that knee all the way up and in. And then the next time you kick it back up, kick and hold. Keep it there. Balance your weight in your right hand. Reach back with that left. Just know that it's going to grab that right foot. Press up and away from the body. Stay focused. Then when you're ready, bring your awareness back down to that right hand. Slowly, gently, mindfully release that right knee to the mat with control. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Starting with that left heel up toward the sky. Exhale, squeeze and lift that knee. Sync up with the breath. Hold that heel up high. Next time you kick it back up, keep it there. Squeeze and lift. Lift that right hand, reach back for that foot. Press away from the body, opening up through that right side chest, staying focused, staying grounded. Bring your gaze back down to the mat before gently, mindfully releasing that foot with control and coming back to tabletop. From tabletop, I'm just going to draw some big circles with the hips, keeping the shins planted. Just massaging through the outer hips, maybe reverse those circles if it feels good. Finding some easy organic movement here. And when you're ready, meet back in stillness in tabletop. From here, we're going to sink the weight into the left shin and just use the right knee to start drawing some big circles with the hips. So you can see I'm kind of drawing in a clockwise direction or toward the top edge of the mat, if that makes sense. And we'll swing that knee around one more time before planting that right foot on the outside edge of the right hand. Toes spill off the mat. From here, unravel the back foot, press up onto your palms, and then walk toward the left, resting that right hand on the inside of right knee and sort of pressing the torso away from that knee. Nice and gentle, nice and mindful. Trust your body. We're going to continue deepening the breath, and just remember that the ability to find stillness, both in the mind and body, are just as important to the practice, especially in training for lotus posture, as the flexibility aspect is. So anyway, you're going to walk your hands back through center, heel toe, the foot toward the center of the mat. Frame that foot with both hands, and then we're going to extend through that right knee for your half splits. You can either keep an active flat back here, elongating the neck, hovering over the toes, or just relax the head and neck, whatever feels best for you. Notice what you feel. And then when you're ready, we'll start with a micro bend in that right knee, coming back to the sole of that right foot. We're going to heel toe it back out to lizard variation, and then send it back for tabletop. Do the same thing on the other side. Start by drawing those big circles with the left knee, opening up through that left hip. And then maybe the next time you come around, you bring that left foot to the outside edge of the left hand, unravel the right toes, left toes spill off the mat. We're going to walk the hands to the right, place that left hand on the inside of left knee, and just gently press the torso away from that knee. Remember, honoring your range of motion today, breathing deep into that, finding your focus, remembering your intention. When you've sufficiently mastered or lost track of your focus completely, we'll release the hands, walk them back through center, heel toe that foot into center, frame that left foot with both hands, extend through the left knee, check your watch, just kidding, don't do that. And then either keeping a flat back here or relaxing the head and neck inward, stretching through those left hamstrings, and just noticing what you feel. When you've got what you need on this side, you can go ahead and put a bend in that left knee, bring the sole of the foot back to the mat, heel toe that foot back out to the left, and then send it back. We'll meet in tabletop. From tabletop, we're just going to come forward onto the belly for Sphinx pose, coming up onto the forearms, staying nice and open through the chest, looking over one shoulder then the other. Maybe go through that a couple of times, just because it feels good. Then when you're ready, come back through center. We're going to press up to plank and meet in downward facing dog. Hips up high and back, torso comes towards the tops of the thighs. Shake out your hair if you need to. A bug literally fell out of mine here. It was awesome. Anyway, when you feel good, you're going to plant that left foot, draw that right knee in, kick it up really high for three-legged dog. Lift the gaze to between your palms. And then we're going to swing that right knee all the way up and under for seated pigeon posture. So opening up through that right hip, find your balance, unravel those left toes before we melt it down. When you do come down, you can either come down to stacked fists or one palm on top of the other, whatever feels good for you. We're going to breathe deep into the right hip here. I'm sure you can tell why we're using this in working up toward lotus. So we're going to spend a few more cycles of breath here. Just remember your focus, remember your intention. And when you're ready, you can press back up to that seated posture, open up through the chest. You'll slowly unravel however is comfortable for you. We're going to meet again in downward facing dog before doing the same thing on the other side. So please take your time, move mindfully, listen to your body. From this downward dog, we'll plant that right foot, kick the left leg up high, three-legged dog, lift the gaze, tuck that left knee all the way up and through, find your seated pigeon pose. It's much easier for me on this side because I'm on a hill. Anyway, when you feel good about it, come down to stacked fists or stacked palms. And you're just going to find your breath, find your focus, remember your intention. Notice what you feel. When you're ready to come out of pigeon pose, bat the eyelashes open, draw the palms in underneath the shoulders to gently help you come out. Press back up to sitting, open up through the chest, and once again we'll meet in downward dog, however you get there. Gently bring the knees down to the mat for a tabletop pose, and from here we're going to walk the knees out to the left and the right, a little bit wider than the mat if it's comfortable for you. You're going to turn toward the inside edges of the feet. Outside edges of the feet are turned up toward the sky, so pointing to the left and right. And then we're just going to come down to stack fists once again, or gently rest the forehead on the stacked palms here. Remember your focus and intention. If you get distracted, just keep coming back to the breath. Take another cycle of breath, maybe two, and then gently, mindfully use the palms to come out of it, come back up to tabletop, take your time. From tabletop, we'll cross at the ankles, walk it back to the sits bones, send the legs out long. Center yourself on your mat, and then come all the way back to lying. From here, we'll draw the left knee in. We're just going to cross the right ankle over that and just take a really gentle hip opener here on the right. We're kind of coming to a close for the practice. I am not going to attempt lotus posture at the end of this, but I would encourage you to try, especially if you've already been doing so. Go ahead and switch feet. Keep that right foot on the ground. Left ankle crosses the right knee, just pressing open gently through that left hip. And then releasing that left foot back to the mat, you can try to take a single stirrup posture here. I tried and almost fell over, so I just went right into happy baby. Double stirrup. You can hook the index and middle fingers around the toes. You can extend through the knees. Feel free to explore. Otherwise, just drawing the feet, drawing the knees down toward the outside of each armpit, opening up through the hips. And then when you're ready to release that, last but not least, we'll come to kind of a butterfly or cobbler's pose in the lower half, bringing the soles of the feet together, just letting the knees fall wide. You can rest the hands on the inside of the thighs if it feels good. Maybe press into the hip flexors, just noticing what's going on there. And then this is where I'll close the practice, but again, if you are practicing Lotus, I would encourage you to try it or make this sequence part of your regular practice in preparation for that. As always, we like to acknowledge that yoga is not just flexibility practice, it's also a spiritual practice and deeply important to many cultures. So we respect and honor that first and foremost. Enjoy your practice, enjoy your exploration, Have a great day. Namaste.